So this is just one aspect of economic statecraft, which is what Abe and I describe as weaponized interdependence. And the idea here is that we are looking at how entire networks, the networks that hold the global economy together, have been turned into tools of strategic surveillance and coercion by major states such as the United States of America. And what has changed is that this would have been impossible 30 or 40 years ago, when you simply did not have these global networks playing anything like the role that they have at the moment. So now we have a world in which all of the different countries depend upon global networks for their economies to work, for their communication systems to work, and so weiter. And so that means that it is necessary for these economies to have access to these networks. And if a powerful state is able to deny them access, this can have serious economic consequences. So that is what has changed. So these are two different effects that you could imagine to have with state control of the central points of a network. So the panopticon effect is about how if you have control of the central parts of a network, the nodes through which much of the data flows, you are then able to see what that data is, and you're able to understand it. And in a sense, you are able to monitor the entire network, just as in Jeremy Bentham's imaginary prison, the panopticon. It was possible to see all of the prisoners from a single central point. You were able to do the same for the entire network. So you were able to turn, for example, as the NSA was able to do, you were able to turn the internet into a vast distributed machinery of surveillance. And the chokepoint effect is different. That is when you deny access to a network. And so, for example, here the United States was able to use its control of the SWIFT network and the dollar clearing system to deny Iran real access to the global financial system, which had huge consequences for Iran's economy. Well, we are trying to figure out, now that we are in a world where other states understand that this is happening, how are they going to respond? Are they going to respond by trying to create their own networks? Are they going to try to respond by insulating themselves? Are they going to try to respond by retaliating against the United States or other countries? Or simply are they just going to hide and pretend that nothing is happening? So we are now in a world where interesting things are beginning to happen in the global economy. We used to think that we had a standard story about how globalization worked, that effectively when we saw global markets being created and these global networks, they would integrate and unite countries together and create peace and subject the state to market forces, so that you did not have a world of geopolitics and geoeconomics anymore. Instead, you had a world where there would be peaceful coexistence between states all working together in the same market system. We are discovering that that is not true. We are discovering that the networks, the forms of intercommunication, that these are all becoming tools of coercion, tools of surveillance, and this is having profound consequences for world politics. So for the world, this is not a good thing. For scholars of international relations, it means that we now have something to really get our teeth in to try and understand what exactly is happening.